We're on time. It's like we're on top of this.
This is actually more on time. Like usually we would give our pre-show red carpet experience this much time. And
You mean back in
it's
the old
not.
days?
Back in the old days.
The old days?
Well, in the old days, we needed time to like invite people and stuff like that, which I haven't been doing. You haven't been doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of fallen off. Might be worth something to get back into.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be good. I think Mystery Meat is always one of my favorites. Kill the Guru is the top. Mystery Meat is second. Actually, no, it's like children. They're all my favorites, just in different ways.
I mean, that's what you got to say, right?
Yes. Now, speaking of which, okay, before we get into the episode, for those of you who are joining us, we're starting in about 5.5 minutes. That's when we actually do it.
Big shout out to David Blackmore, who's here with us.
Hey, David. Awesome to see you, man. So,
have you seen his new show, by the way?
Yeah, it's so good.
Right.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy that he's putting them out. He's on episode 3. I think I saw it go up.
The Mindful Minutes with Musicians.
Yes. Mindful Minutes with Musicians. People check it out. It's like you're going to be in on the big thing. So you can be like, I was there in 2020 during the pandemic when Mindful Minutes with the Musicians launched. That's when I started it. As well as COVID marketing, of course, right? So you, mister, have I told you about my kids are so cute thought experiment?
This sounds new to me.
Okay, so you know how children sometimes are so cute and how serious they can get? Like imagine this child, 6 years old.
I don't have kids, so I'm going to plead the fifth on this one.
Okay. The fifth. So imagine what the the influence of the American culture, right? Okay, so imagine this child. Like you'll get this right away. So you sometimes children like act like adults, and it's so cute, right? This little kid that's pretending to be whatever, a doctor or an accountant, and is so serious about it. It's so adorable. Am I right?
Kids are adorable, yeah.
Kids are adorable. Absolutely, of course. And more specifically, when they get really serious about something, you say, oh, that's so cute. Look how serious they are about this.
Oh, it's like when they're like playing like pretend adult.
Yeah, they feel like pretend adult, mommy and daddy, or whatever it is. Like, so adorable. And yeah, you got it? You got the picture, right? There's these kids, they're playing and you're overhearing them and they're like, Daddy says, what do you want for dinner tonight? Mommy says, this is the thing and I'll cook for you. And and they go through this whole thing, right? And that's time for me to go to work and I'm going to dress in a tie. And that's because what you do when you go to work. It's adorable, right? Mm-hmm. Stay with me with this one, okay?
I'm with you, Brent.
Awesome. Now, I just imagine that we're being observed by these like really omniscient or very powerful beings, and they're just watching us.
All right. Is this a discussion now about like TikTok and the Chinese Communist Party?
Jeez. Are you trying to pull it back into... No, it's not, but maybe they're the omniscient beings. Okay, sure. If it needs to be that. Okay, so anyways, alien beings, okay? People are just like these beings that are looking down at us adults being all serious about things. I'm going to work and I must go to work and I must make money. I must type at my computer all day long. And then I have to have my lighting. And then everything's so important and so serious. Like we get so caught up in how serious things need to be as adults. And most of the things that we're being caught up being, this is so serious. I need to get this project on time. I need to code my website this way. I need to do all of these. I need to. And I just imagine these like really old 1,000-year-old beings looking at us and say, oh, they're so cute. look at them. Look how serious they think everything is. And they're playing and they're all just like, kids. Like, because the kids, when they're doing it, are sometimes being super serious about it. But it's adorable to us. So I just imagine, what would it be like to have these 1,000-year-old beings that look at us and say, oh, it's so adorable. They think, wow, look at this. They're sitting at the computer and they're typing away and they're saying, Arthur, when can I expect that email from you? And they're like, oh my gosh, look at them. They're so cute. Huh? Like, we take things so seriously when they're not. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous how seriously, like, literally, we are all stardust. Like, if you think about it, 1,000 years from now, will that email and that project deadline and any of that stuff actually matter? The answer is no. When you're dying and you're whatever, 200 years old, and you're like, okay, this is my last breath, are you going to be looking back and saying, did it really matter that I got that project done 2 hours early, or I made sure that the person sent me that RFP request, and that we scheduled it really tightly, and we made that extra $50 and $1,000 or whatever it is, that we did it all that way? No, it's not. The things that we think matter so often do not matter, except this show. This show matters a lot. Like, let's really get serious about this.
This is the only thing that matters.
This is it. Right now, we're like, okay, Arthur, are you ready to go? This is so important that we get this right. This is so important. We have to get this super right. You got it?
Oh,
okay. Sorry. I'm too excited. Yeah, you got it. It's very important we get this right. We're going to have to kill this episode so that we can get 1,000 subscribers. You good?
Smash it out the park.
Yes, we want to be big. We have to be big. I feel it in my bones. My ego says we need to be big. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into it. The big.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
That's right. We are live with COVID Marketing episode number 73, the Mystery Meat Edition. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to be chatting about. We join you weekdaily at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing and business or, well, whatever, let us know. We're doing this so that you can thrive during these times of opportunity, even if they feel freaking weird in times of non-opportunity, like the world is like, we're not doing opportunity stuff. I'm saying that's the perfect time to do opportunity stuff. So I am Brent Kobayashi, president of Kobayashi Zeitguys, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. And with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist at the KZ. You guys start sharing, subscribing, liking, tagging, all of that kind of stuff, because we seriously need to get more audience, man. Actually, we don't. We seriously don't.
You ready for a little mystery meat, Brent?
Yeah, let's do the mystery meat. Serve it up, man. Serve up the mystery meat.
It still cracks me up. The little, the smorgasbord of mystery meat.
That's what we're doing. Smorgasbording mystery meat. I still want to say smorgasbord, like Star Trek, but it's smorgasbord.
Like a cyborg?
Yes, which reminds me, smorgasbord. Actually, that's interesting. There's a pun in there. There is a good pun in there. Oh, I like it. Yeah, what does 7 of 9? What does 7 of 9 do? What does she call it when she just, like eats a whole bunch of different things, all of her leftovers all at once? She calls it a smorgasbord. I can improve on that. I will improve on that. Smorgasbord. Yeah, I can improve on that. Okay, but that's you guys just got to see the genesis of a dad joke. You saw it real time happening, and you're welcome.
The genesis.
Yes, and I'm serious about it. It's really important. Okay, dude, let's do it. Let's mystery meat.
Ready for a little mystery meat?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got some questions that have come up in our Kill the Guru community group. And so let's start with, so we've got these big entities, these big platforms. We have Google and we have Facebook. And we talk about advertising on both of them. And I guess the first thing is to say, like, these platforms are really quite different. But the question that I have for you, Brent, is what are the pros and cons of advertising on Google versus advertising on Facebook? Should you do both? Should you do both? Should you do one or the other? Why would you choose one over the other? Isn't advertising just advertising? What's the big deal anyway?
Should you do both? Should we get oot in a boot? Very Canadian. All right. Okay. Actually, we just went through this yesterday, figuring out what our advertising overall arching offering is going to be, which was when would you use one versus the other, and what does each one mean? So the general thing with that is the answer is what's your intention for what you're doing? And also, where's your audience? So just to back up a little bit, Google, I'm going to talk about Google search ads to start, as in somebody types something in.
Somebody goes to Google and they search for a thing.
Yeah, Google, also Bing. Bing is actually fairly big, but we'll talk about Google. It is. 10% is big, man. 10% is massive. 10% is not something you would normally ignore, but for some reason, a lot of advertisers, I think, do, which is why I think there's interesting opportunities on Bing. Which I know we're not exploring either ourselves, but just saying.
Add that one to the list.
Add it to the list. So the biggest thing and the biggest reason why Google did so well is because advertising, for the most part, was about awareness and hoping to get that 1%, 2%, 3%, 6% of the people that we're going to now convert. So you send out a direct mail, you send out 100, maybe 3 of them are going to become a buyer or a lead or whatever.
Put out a radio ad.
Yep. You know, hundreds of thousands of people listening in, a certain percentage of them will be like, oh yeah, I actually want that. The other majority, like 95%, whatever that percentage is, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. So Google search specifically became super popular and is still super popular because it shows intent. So when you say, should I do Google or should I do Facebook? If you're like, I want to advertise to convert to a sale, what you want to be doing is generally the way people look at it is, I want to advertise to the people who are actually interested, showing intent to buy right now.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
And so just to give a quick example on that, the first one that popped in my head would be like an injury lawyer, right? If somebody was just in an accident and they're like, I need an injury lawyer, they are looking to get one right in this moment.
100%. Like, and you can think of some of those intent words. Somebody's going to Google and they're searching for injury lawyer. Sure, they might be looking for a job with an injury lawyer. Sure, they might be doing some research as a newspaper. I want to look up injury lawyers. Sure, there's a lot of different things that they could be doing. But the primary thing that they're probably doing, who are you laughing at?
Well, I was just going to add a very quick aside, because one thing you can do with Google Ads is you can add negative keywords. So if somebody was searching for a injury lawyer career, you could add career as a negative keyword and it wouldn't show an ad to that person.
Yeah, so absolutely. So in other words, what you're trying to do with there is actually honing in on intent. So that's one of the things, and we'll get it. Actually, let's get into some of that optimization technique in a moment. But yeah, if somebody is looking for injury lawyer or Toronto lawyer or Toronto marketing agency or looking for a coffee shop or whatever it happens to be, chances are they're actually interested in purchasing that thing. If somebody is looking up, blue snowball microphone, or what is the best kind of microphone to purchase, again, they're kind of starting to show intent. If somebody is looking up, let me try to think of a really, really good example. if somebody is looking up a musician, right? I'm typing in the musician. They might be interested in buying something, but they might be interested in just listening to the music on a free platform, looking to find what's going on with them. They might be more into a general research type mode versus really looking to do a purchase. So that can happen on Google, but the reason why Google AdWords are so, or let me give you an example. What should I do if I think I have COVID? Right? That is probably more research versus I want to buy something. Right?
I want to buy a face mask.
Yeah, there might be something that you could market or advertise for a purchase on that, but it's more interest-based. Like, it's not really the intent. But Google capitalized that, and that's why Google typically is priced higher than, at least per impression, because there's a lot of intent that goes into it.
One quick thing I'll add. So Google isn't exactly priced, as in like Google doesn't set the prices, but it's a bid. Right. Yeah. There's an auction that goes on. So whatever you pay on Google is because somebody else was willing to pay like just as much or slightly less than what you ended up paying for.
Exactly. And that's why Google's more expensive, because typically, in terms of getting things going, is because people are like when we talk to somebody and they're like, how much do you want to pay? And how much do you want to invest? And how much do you want to do? All that kind of stuff. A lot of the time they're like, great. And I want a return on investment in 3 months. Or a month or whatever it is. And it's like, well, in order to do that, you need people converting from a search or finding out about you and buying. And that means you need intent. I intend to buy. And that's where Google is so powerful. Facebook, on the other hand, is you're showing your ads typically to demographics and people that you think would be likely interested in you, and you want to make them aware of you. So I might not be showing intent to buy. So just the other day, up in my feed, just actually this morning, came up, funky socks, like really cool looking socks. I have no idea how they knew that I was interested in socks. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it's an age thing or whatever it is. I was like, okay.
It's those aliens that are watching you.
Well, there is a lot of data points that you don't even realize you're giving off that allows people to figure out whether or not this ad will be good for you. Like, we use it all the time. And it's an interest in whatever, men's clothing. So maybe I visited some website, somebody shared something with me, I responded and reacted to it. And Facebook is saying, likely to be interested in men's style, whatever it is. That could be how they're targeting me. And so that is more awareness, right? Because I am not searching to buy socks, which means I'm ready to buy right now. I'm looking to buy. That is more like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I want that. Maybe I don't. And because of that, you are more, we think of it as awareness advertising. And that can be really super powerful, especially if you can figure out your creative and your messaging and maybe be willing to have a little bit of a longer journey. So with that sock thing, I looked at it, I actually clicked on it, I engaged with it. I wasn't ready to buy. This is not the time, but now I am in their audience of people that have engaged to it. And so if they want to continue having me in the audience, sometime in the next 3 to 6 months or however long it is, they can continue to remarket and market to me and put these things in front of me. And maybe something will suddenly click. They send me the Star Trek Next Generation smorgasbord socks. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just talking about it. I got to get them. Smorgasbord, it's so hilarious. My joke thing, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Right? And that was the right thing. So it's a very different approach to marketing. it could be more awareness. Like we want to build, like we've done some advertising into the Danforth Village area. So we want to build general awareness, keep top of mind. And then at some point in the future, people will start tipping towards saying, oh, now is actually the right time for me. And because I've seen their ads, I've seen the signage on their storefront, I've seen this, they've actually, you know, participated in our Facebook group, and we just gave a bed away to one of our a bed away to a veteran, and they said, oh, okay, I know them. All these things start to, you know, that community marketing stuff we talked about. Was it yesterday? No,
Yeah.
last week, the community marketing stuff that we talked about with Andy, all that kind of stuff. And then that advertising now turns into a really close relationship. And people are like saying, oh, I actually want to use you. That's the difference between generally Facebook and Google ad search.
Right. So the difference between like intention-based and interest-based.
Yeah. Right. Intention-based, interest-based, intention and awareness. You're kind of building a more longer-term relationship, which could make for an easier sale, maybe even a higher value sale, versus something that's a little bit closer to transactional. Right. I want to buy. So if somebody is searching, and we were running ads on Google. This is like a long time ago. When we really dug into it for a little while with us. And I realized, you know, we were getting leads. It was good, but our word of mouth was so much easier to sell to, because when we were getting leads through Google for us, yes, they were ready to buy, which is a great lead. No, they weren't invested in us, meaning there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different agencies that they were interested in, and therefore they're more kicking the tires, checking it out, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean it's not a good lead, but in terms of where we were at that point, I only had so much sales time available to me, business development time, and I needed to actually work on people that already had a relationship with us.
Right.
Which is word of mouth, which is, I heard from this person that you guys are great. Can we talk? We might be the single source that they're talking to. And it's just a question of, does it fit? So there's pros and cons to both. I would say the Facebook stuff gets you closer to, depending on how you do it, more of a relationship. And therefore, it's an easier time on you from a sales perspective, especially if you're really always giving value over that Facebook advertising.
Right. One more thing I wanted to add here, because I feel like we've touched a lot on the difference between Google and Facebook in terms of intention and interest-based. Yeah. But one more thing that's maybe not quite as obvious on the surface level, but this came up with a client of ours recently, is whether or not you need a website. And so the thing with Google Ads is, once you put up your ad on Google, when somebody clicks on the Google ad, you have to take them to your website, where your website then has to be in good enough shape, well organized, easy to understand, follow, load quickly, that somebody would then come to your website and then actually buy from you. So you need to have a functional website if you're running Google Ads. With Facebook, it's still generally recommended that you would have a good website, but you don't need a website. You don't need to take people to a website from your Facebook ads, because one thing we talked about before is running a lead gen campaign, where all of it happens right on Facebook. So I'm just putting myself in the shoes of somebody who's just starting up, and they're trying to decide, do I put my budget into setting up a new website? Do I put my budget into running ads? If that's the decision that you have to make, potentially you could go with Facebook and do the website later, depending on your situation.
100%. So Google, yes, you're right. You need a little bit more assets for it. You need more creative. You need to convert them to something, right? So what is that thing you're converting to? And usually it's a website. Now, if your website's not up to snuff, keep in mind that person might be a very narrowly focused interest to you, which is where things like leadpages.com comes in, where you can just create a page essentially that talks specifically to that keyword that you're advertising for. And therefore you can quickly, although you still pay 50, 60, $100 a month. I can't remember what it is. You can very quickly use that to be like, I need something quick. I need to get going. Or I want to get going. I want to test out the scenario of what I think is going to work. And therefore you can go from Google ads to, I think you use something, not Lead Pages. What's the one that you're?
So the one I used was ClickFunnels.
ClickFunnels. Okay, great. So that can get you up and going super quickly if your website's not quite there yet. Facebook specifically, if what you're doing is looking to convert to a lead, that's the thing that we've been doing and we've been very excited about. We're using it with a local lawyer here, and we're like, this is fantastic. The website wasn't quite ready yet. No problem. Just turn them into leads. What are you interested? You're interested in this? Put in your information. We'll contact you, because that's really what you want. In fact, I'm like, this is better than sending it to a website because it is such a natural thing. So that's where, if you're into, for that particular one, there's two things. One was interest-based is doing, I actually am pretty pleased with it. It's not necessarily a high amount of volume, but it's in a realm where one person can be tremendously successful. So we don't necessarily have to convert a lot. There's still interest-based, like intention-based stuff that we want to capture, and we're getting there. But generally, it's like, no, we think we have a group, an interest-based group that we think would really respond to the offering that we have. Let's show it to them. And in many cases, this is where Facebook gets interesting. It is actually a less cost per acquisition if you've got the right offering, if you know how to target the person, and you can get the right creative. The thing that I love about the Facebook lead gen stuff is that your creative is the ad, the copy, in other words, the visual, maybe a video, maybe a graphic, it can be simple, and the copy, and then it's the form that Facebook is giving you and auto-populating with the client stuff. And it's like, great, boom, done. We can move on to getting clients. And later, the website can be the most spectacular thing in the world. But let's do get the client things. And we're not having a disconnect as far as who the business is. LinkedIn has a similar lead gen as well. But we've just been very successful with Facebook, even in industries that are B2B. Just because I think of the weird times we're in right now. I'd be interested to see what happens as the months go on. But you don't have to have more presentation of yourself. If somebody goes to your website and your website is kind of lame, they feel like maybe you're kind of lame. It's a possibility. So if you're sending advertising dollars to it, you're like sending traffic to it, then it's like, okay, this is more important. You need to look a little bit better. That's where I think this is beautiful. It just takes that out of the equation.
Yeah. And so I think this was going to segue into another question about how do
we
you
don't
know,
have time, man.
I know we don't.
Okay,
I was just going to line it up for a beautiful cliffhanger. But the follow-up question is, how do you know when your website is good enough to put money behind it and advertise?
So there's I'm going to answer this super quickly. No, I'm going to answer it quickly. I'm going to do it because you know what? We're serious about things and we want to make. Okay, I'm going to answer it quickly. The answer is, if you can go to it and on a minimal basis, understand what this page or this thing is that you're supposed to be doing, and it flows, as in I can click and I can do the thing that you want the client to do and that the client wants to do, then you're ready to go. If there's stuff that's getting in the way, you're wasting your time. So one of the things that we were looking at was a website where it was really convoluted to register for this thing. And sometimes I would click on the menu and I couldn't get to it. And I was like,
the buttons weren't working.
Buttons, all that kind of stuff. I was like, no, that's you got to throw that out.
You got to had to download a form and print it off.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things that were going on. So in other words, the website was filled up with additional things, maybe, because that's all the things that we want to talk about. What I would do from an advertising perspective is narrow your focus generally to what it is that you want to advertise, and then talk to the customer with that. Once you talk to the customer, hey, this is for this kind of person. Do you have this problem? B, this is how we're solving this problem. C, this is how you get in contact with us to deliver the solution, whether it's a free trial, a call to, call us, we'll talk about it. You don't have to get into the e-commerce of it and all that type of stuff if you're, especially if you're starting off, but just streamline it to very specifically what's your goal, where's that person coming from, and get going. That's it. Then get into the advertising so you can get into the real world and see, does this actually click? It still might mean that your site needs to be improved. That's possible. That could be one of the things. But you also might, because you can't prove a negative. You can't, if nobody shows up, that doesn't mean that, it could be your advertising, it could be your copy, it could be the website, it could be that your market just isn't there. But that doesn't mean that all the stuff that you're doing, one of them isn't the correct thing. But if you actually get responses, then you'd be like, oh, now I have a positive. I've proved my positive. And then you can start improving from there. But I would say get out as quickly as you can. That's my important. That's my message to you.
There it is.
On this mystery meat day.
Get it running. Get it popping.
All right. And let's get ourselves out of here.
I want a big shout out to Patricia.
Yes, we are going to check your website out, Patricia.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
Thank you for joining us on episode number 73 of COVID Marketing. I'm no longer shouting as much as I used to be. I listened back to the Andy episode. And I was like, holy cow, you're really shrill. Like I felt shrill. It's challenging to listen to your own voice. I think sometimes I'm actually getting a little bit more used to it, but I was listening to it, I was like, gah.
Hold on. Is this a sign of maturity?
Actually, probably. I'm starting to, there you go. I'm taking things seriously. There is some 1,000-year-old being looking down at him saying, oh, look, he thinks he's shrill. Oh, so cute. Oh my goodness. All right. Patricia, we're going to be in contact with you today because yes, I would like to check out your web. I understand from Arthur that he's really super impressed with it.
Oh yeah, lots of big changes.
Big changes, good stuff. We're going to see if it's ready to go and what that really means. And then let's do it. Let's help you out. Let's get you moving on that one so that you can get your students for this summer season. Yeah,
I was going to say, Patricia, I love how seriously you've taken it and how much work you put into it.
Yeah, and you're so cute. You take it so seriously. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back to the pre-show so that you can see what this is all about, which maybe doesn't exist by the time you're listening to this. And maybe this doesn't exist by the time you're listening to this because
because we're all stardust.
We're all, first of all, yes, it could be 1,000 years from now. And who cares about what this is at the moment? My team might have just cut all this stuff out. It's like, okay, just this, we don't know how we can extract value out of this from the overall marketing stuff that we're doing. And so we're seriously going to dump it. Although I think this would be a great segment on TikTok. David, you're watching. I think you might do some TikTok stuff. This could be like the whole thing.
Controversy. Controversy.
I know.
Controversy.
There's so many things you're not supposed to be doing in this world right now. We can get into it on another Mystery Meat Day. You can't do TikTok. You can't do Facebook ads. You can't do lots
contraband.
Of things, which I get.
Contraband.
I'm just saying. But
contraband.
But yes, I have some thoughts and opinions and things that I'm formulating in my head. Rich is here sitting there looking at me saying, you better not be doing, do you have TikTok on your phone? I can tell, do you have TikTok on your phone? That's what's going through his mind. And I'm like, yes, I have TikTok on my phone. I'm a marketer. I'm running a business. I want to make money. If the CCP, Chinese government, wants my stuff, oh well, so long as they can give me an audience. He's like, no, don't. He's like holding it all in right now. He's not concerned about, he's concerned about, huh? Oh yeah, I get it. Okay, so we have to figure that one out.
We couldn't hear that.
Yeah, he's actually. I'm concerned about your customers' information.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So I need a TikTok gated phone. Like just like this is the brick. It's only for TikTok. That could be it. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. You guys are awesome.
Let's cut it.
See you
We'll
tomorrow. I actually don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but we're
Oh,
doing something. Oh no, we're not doing anything tomorrow.
Canada
We're
Day.
done. We're actually like on the last stat holiday, we did the show. And it's kind of like afterwards, like, yeah, I don't know if that was the right thing. You know, I'm not sure how. Like, it was a fun show. I enjoyed it and everything. But this time around, we're going to be celebrating Canada Day, as in by not doing the COVID marketing, our marketing show. We're going to be actually taking the day off, which interesting. I actually feel like I want to do it now.
I was gonna say if you want to do it, I'm down to do it.
No. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a rest. There's a lot to do. We want to have our energy. And so it's going to be a useful thing for us. So there's like a chill. Canada, I appreciate you. That you're awesome. Like right now, you're freaking awesome. I'm so grateful to be here. Like unbelievably grateful. So I'm just going to spend some time like chilling.
Time to chill.
Yeah, we're going to chill tomorrow. And then Thursday, I don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do something. We're going to do something amazing. I think we're probably, do you have an idea? We're going to continue on LinkedIn maybe. I think we might be continuing with LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
All right. Awesome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Peace.
Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day.